Soulmask has been in early access for years, establishing itself as a standout survival crafting game, but now it's finally launched in 1.0 as a complete, definitive version with a major batch of DLC. Soulmask Shifting Sands takes players to ancient Egypt in an edition that feels truly expansive, and, best of all, anyone who already owns the base game can claim the DLC for free for the first month following the game's 1.0 update. There are plenty of new systems that have been added with the DLC, like airship building, and even more memorable bosses and Soulmasks to experiment with. With the major DLC content additions and the game's 1.0 release, now is a great opportunity for new players to dive into the game's sandbox, where they can sink hundreds of hours building their tribes and exploring everything that the game has to offer. Here are 6 tips for getting started with Soulmask Shifting Sands if you're jumping in for the first time. Soulmasks are one of the central mechanics in the game that allow you to transform into powerful deities with mystical abilities. When you start the Shifting Sands DLC, you'll automatically have the new Horus Soulmask, which gives you the ability to transform and sprout wings to explore the map from above and take advantage of grounded enemies with its Ground Slam ability. The Soulmask system allows you to significantly change your playstyle over many hours with the game, since each ability can be tailored to your needs. The mask also allows you to take control of any of your tribe members, more on them in a little bit, giving you a truly endless amount of customization for how you want to build your tribe. Although you start Shifting Sands with just one Soulmask in your pocket, it's a good idea to pursue them as often as you can by fighting ancient pyramid bosses. Once you have multiple masks, you can switch back and forth between them to truly expand your ability pool. As soon as you hit the beach in the Shifting Sands DLC, you'll be dropped into a truly massive open world. The map in the base game is already huge, but Shifting Sands doubles the map size with its Egyptian-inspired vistas. While you're welcome to wander the map as you please, a crucial aspect of Soulmask is figuring out where you should be going, what level enemies you should expect to run into as you explore, and where major points of interest are. In order to reveal all of that information, you'll want to travel to scout camps and deter the scouts that live there. When you're fighting an enemy scout and get their health down to below 30%, their health bar will be highlighted in white, and you'll be able to see some text beneath it that reads, "Can be deterred." If you hit the E key, you'll deter the scout, immobilizing them momentarily, and your map will become populated with all kinds of important information. You'll be able to see things like the average enemy level of each region, enemy tribe camps and barracks, places to go for grinding important crafting resources like mines, and ancient pyramids where you'll find powerful bosses. With how big the map is, it's best to get your bearings as soon as possible by hunting down the scout camps in each region. Take note that if you accidentally kill the scout without getting the map information from them, just leave the camp and come back later when they've respawned. Soulmask is best played in a group. Luckily, however, you don't need to play online in order to take on Barbarian Barracks, Holy Ruins, and Ancient Pyramid bosses. One of the main hooks for Soulmask is its extensive tribe NPC system that allows you to recruit enemies to fight alongside you and be a productive part of your tribe. There are a lot of roles that NPCs can fill, from crafting you new supplies, to fixing your boat, to deploying in combat with you. You want to make sure to build up a sizable tribe of people to help you take care of crafting tasks on your boat or other structures you've built, since Soulmask's tribe system allows for specific production tasks to be given to individual tribe members. Additionally, it's essential to have a crew of NPCs run with you into battle in the early hours of the Shifting Sands DLC. Enemy factions can be vicious and will easily overwhelm you with their numbers if fought alone. Your tribe, however, can be outfitted with whatever gear you assign to them and behave in dynamic ways based on your preferences. For example, I mainly played as a melee character using greatswords and dual blades, which meant that in order to round out my assaults, I made sure to have at least one tribesman wielding a bow and arrow at all times. In order to see everything that the new map for Shifting Sands has to offer, you'll need to have some solid gear and several experience levels under your belt. The best way to get those two things in the early game is to attempt assaults on Barbarian Barracks. The barracks are home to a significant number of enemies, so if you're going to fight your way through them, you'll need to make sure that you've gathered a fair amount of healing items, some decent armor, and a few tribesmen who are up for a prolonged fight. When you find a Barbarian Barrack, make sure to destroy its signal fire as soon as you can, since all of the item chests in the area will be hidden while it's lit. As you make your way through the barracks, you'll find plenty of great crafting resources, healing items, and other useful gear that should set you up nicely for the next several hours. At the end of each barrack is an elite boss who, if you finish off, will drop some excellent armor and a weapon or two that are absolutely worth picking up for yourself or for outfitting one of your tribesmen with. Additionally, if you're struggling to find sufficiently leveled enemies to recruit for your tribe, Barbarian Barracks have no shortage of tough enemies who would make great additions to your ranks. There's plenty of hostile wildlife in Soulmask Shifting Sands, from boars to wild dogs to hippos. However, nothing is more fierce than the various crocodiles and alligators you'll come face to face with in your journey. That said, the Soulmasks Crocodile, a boss raid available at the ancient pyramid northeast of the barren sandland, is most vicious of all. The Soulmasks Croc is the first main story boss players will likely encounter in Shifting Sands, and it's an essential part of unlocking the rest of the map. The Croc is a fierce opponent, but if you take a team of experienced tribesmen in for the hunt, you should be able to finish off the Croc in no time. A quick tip for anyone struggling with the fight is to focus on its tail, since it can be severed, and then the stump serves as a spot where you can deal critical damage. What makes the Croc a good early game hunt once you're leveled properly are the rewards you'll get from taking it down. Not only will you acquire a fair amount of crafting and cooking materials like prime cuts of meat and various beast teeth, but you'll also gain access to the ancient pyramid the Soulmasks Crocodile was residing in. Inside, you'll be able to acquire a new soul mask as well as a handful of materials needed to craft an airship, which drastically changes the way you explore the world. The Soulmasks Crocodile fight will require you to do some solid battle preparation, but it's absolutely worth pursuing for all of the rewards you'll get from killing it. One of the most notable additions to Soulmask in the Shifting Sands DLC are the airships that you can build to fly over the landscape instead of relying on the river and sea to get you where you want to go. Creating an airship completely breaks open the map, instilling a new sense of freedom and exploration. I often struggle with crafting structures in video games since design is not one of my core areas of expertise. However, Soulmask's ship design system is incredibly intuitive and easy to manage, as long as you have enough crafting materials to create the components you need. Or, if building your own ship isn't your thing, you can make use of the blueprint system, which allows players to save their designs and share them with the community to be downloaded and crafted in other worlds. While the airships are excellent tools for exploring the new map, they can also serve as a highly mobile base of operations for all of your tribe's needs. You can set up things like crafting benches, livestock pens, and campfires for farming items and customizing your ship to meet your specific needs. It's a good idea to spend some time in the early hours of the game farming lumber from trees, or if you want to multitask, simply assign one of your tribesmen to do it for you, so that once you've killed the Soulmasks Crocodile and you finally get the materials needed to get your ship in the air, you'll be able to build your own personalized ride with the lumber, outfitted with everything you could possibly need for keeping your tribe strong. As we just talked about with the Soulmasks Crocodile, there are a handful of obstacles you'll need to overcome in order to actually get the materials necessary for building the ship, but it's a great first major goal to have as you get rolling with Shifting Sands. So that's everything you need to know about getting started in Soulmask Shifting Sands. With just how massive the update is, there's plenty of stuff to see, but focusing on these 6 things should set you up for success when you finally encounter Holy Ruins and other ancient pyramid bosses. Soulmask Shifting Sands is available now on PC via Steam and the Epic Games Store. For everything else, make sure to stick with IGN.